Coming up on 6:30 on your Thursday morning, the COVID vaccine is a new type of vaccine that uses mRNA. How does that work? We'll explain coming up in the next 5 minutes. Plus, a Spokane native is headed to space again.
When I was a little girl growing up in Spokane, Washington, becoming an astronaut, like nobody did that.
This morning, how Ann McLean is helping blaze the trail for the first woman to set foot on the moon.
And we've got a little bit of a low-hanging cloud over our heads this morning. I'm going to let you know how long that sticks around and when you can expect snow to fly.
Up with KREM begins now.
6:30 now. Everyone's getting into the holiday spirit a little early this year, and as it turns out, it's led to a little bit of a Christmas tree shortage. We're about 15 days now from the holiday, and that means trees are hard to find. But this morning, we want to see your Christmas tree. Send us your photos. I love looking at these. These are fantastic. Send us your photos to 509-448-2000. Tell us how you're decorating this year. Also tell us, did you get your tree a little early? Are you still looking? If you were with us this morning, by the way, a little earlier, I said I might not be getting a Christmas tree this year, but looking at these, Jeremy, I feel like I might have to change that. I kind of feel in the spirit. Fill me up a little bit more.
Yeah, I definitely am really digging all of these. Yeah. It's so awesome. Everybody has their own unique way of decorating it. Joshua, if you saw one of ours, you'd be like, oh, okay, I can do a Christmas tree.
It wasn't like a Grinch thing. It was just kind of like, we've had so many things this year. I'm not planning on having family come to visit me. Going to be staying home, kind of buckling down myself. So it was just kind of like, I could focus on other things, but maybe I'll not be able to resist now.
Yeah, maybe even just a little one. Ours right now, it's like this tall. It's great. It just is kind of something to go, oh yeah. And then every once in a while I go, oh, that's fresh pine.
Plus Tangeroo needs his first Christmas tree too.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Just make sure he doesn't eat it.
That's right. All right, what kind of forecast are we looking at on a Thursday morning, Jeremy?
Ooh, it's a little bit cloudy this morning. We're going to hang on to those clouds through a good chunk of the day. But there is a but. The good news is we've got some snow working its way into the forecast. Some of those clouds are hanging out a bit lower in the atmosphere early on this morning, reducing visibility in a few locations. Walla Walla down to about a quarter of a mile. We got some thick fog out at the airport here in town. Coeur d'Alene, not as bad as it was last night, but still some of that low-hanging cloud cover. Temperatures hovering right around freezing early on this morning across the region, and that's the clouds. Clouds are really going to stick around through much of the day. Might catch a break in the action this afternoon, but don't expect it to last long because then comes our next round of snow. That's right, snow works its way into the forecast. It's early tomorrow, so expect a nasty commute tomorrow morning. And a few of those snow showers to linger as we head into the afternoon. In North Idaho, you might pick up about 2 inches here in town, maybe an inch by the time it's all said and done. But for now, it's clouds. Clouds stick around today and temperatures try to climb. I think 40 is a little overzealous. 38 is about where I think we are going to top out later on today. A little peak of sunshine is possible, but for the most part, it's all about the clouds, Joshua.
It's pretty little clouds. Pretty little clouds, Jeremy.
Pretty little clouds.
All right, here's 3 things you need to know about the coronavirus today. Number 1, Spokane area ICUs are operating at about 80% capacity this morning. The county's interim health officer, Dr. Frank Velasquez, says healthcare leaders across the region are trying to stay ahead of the increased demand.
There's such demand that could get to the point of overloading the capacity that we have. So the best way to prevent that is the way we're doing it. And we also have strategies to mitigate in the event that we see an increase in patients going forward into the next several weeks.
Washington State considers 80% to be the maximum acceptable level of occupancy. Number 2, across state line, the Panhandle Health District is reporting 11 new deaths for a total of 140 deaths now in North Idaho from COVID-19. The district also reports 419 new coronavirus cases with 67 people reportedly in the hospital. Number 3, Spokane Public Schools will participate in a COVID-19 testing program. It is one of the 10 districts across Washington State set to do so, and SPS is hopeful that it can start in January. If all goes well, the program could even expand into other districts. Over the next few weeks, staff and families will be further educated on testing protocol, the COVID-19 tests themselves, volunteer testing, and contact tracing. In the meantime, one dose of the vaccine may not be enough, because here's what we know so far in regards to the two-shot process for the COVID-19 vaccine. KREM 2's Regina On breaks it down for us.
Once you get that first shot, the wait to be immune is not over. Pfizer requires doses to be taken 3 weeks apart. Moderna requires 4 weeks between shots. It's common for vaccines to require 2 or more doses. The chickenpox vaccine, the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine require 2 doses. The tetanus shot requires 3. People can expect some side effects with the COVID vaccines, including fatigue, muscle pain, fever, or chills for a day or 2 after receiving the shot. Some experts, including researchers at the University of Michigan, worry those symptoms and other factors like no-show rates for medical appointments and conspiracy theories, as much as 30% of the population may not get the second dose COVID-19 vaccine.
Now, as the FDA considers emergency use approval of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine today, you've still got plenty of questions for us about the vaccine. So this morning, our sister station in Houston explains how it actually works.
There are 330 vaccine candidates being worked on all over the world. 11 are in clinical trials in the U.S. Here's what they're all working toward: making the body produce antibodies which protect against COVID-19. How they do that depends on the specific vaccine. Pfizer and Moderna are the furthest along in clinical trials with their messenger RNA vaccines, which is a brand new method never approved in the U.S. before. The idea is messenger RNA sends a message to the body to create what are called spike proteins. Those proteins are found on the outside of novel coronavirus cells. Once your body forms spike proteins, it triggers an immune response. So if you ever come in contact with the real COVID-19, which also has spike proteins, your body will already have the antibodies to fight it off. The messenger RNA vaccine contains no live virus, so experts say you cannot get COVID-19 from the shot. Early results from Pfizer and Moderna's clinical trials have shown their mRNA vaccines are 95% effective in preventing symptoms of COVID-19. What we don't know is how long that immunity lasts.
It is coming up on 6:37 now. Coming up this morning here on Up with KREM, Spokane County Democrats believe they were targeted in a political attack after a man walked into their headquarters with a bomb threat. After the break, we're speaking with the chairperson from the Democratic Party about the incident.
And we've got a little bit of cloud cover overhead today, but snow moves in within 24 hours. I'll let you know how much to expect.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS this morning, the FDA Commission will discuss today's critical advisory meeting that could recommend emergency use of the first coronavirus vaccine in this country. Plus, they'll also respond to concerns about the potential side effects of the Pfizer vaccine. And first on CBS this morning, a congressional investigation finds millions of U.S. children have been put in danger. See disturbing new crash test video. Take a look at that. Lawmakers say it shows how some of those popular booster seats fail to protect your kids. And social media has become a hotbed of vaccine misinformation. It may be convincing people that COVID vaccines are not safe. Meet a scientist who's now using TikTok to fight back with the facts. TikTok does everything. We'll see you at 7 o'clock on the dot.